So, Dragon Age Inquisition has multiplayer. Well, I know with Mass Effect, everybody was like, we don't know if we want this, and then people got it and loved it. The Dragon Age universe is a little different than Mass Effect to implement multiplayer in, which I think people have some concerns about, obviously.
Yeah, and I think people had similar concerns with Mass Effect
Yeah.
when they were like, hey, this is a single-player RPG.
Yeah, what are you doing?
I don't want, this doesn't work in this universe. And I guess I'd say, like, at least in the context of Inquisition, the context is actually very similar to what it was in Mass Effect 3. And like, in Mass Effect 3, you played a group of warriors who were sort of fighting as a smaller front in a larger war. And that's what's going on conceptually in Dragon Age Inquisition also. Your 4-player co-op team.
Okay, co-op.
They're Inquisition agents that are doing the Inquisition's work sort of out in the field. So I think that makes sense. I mean, there are lots of other parallels you can draw to Mass Effect. I don't think it's a surprise. When we were out there for the cover trip and we asked about multiplayer, though they wouldn't come straight out and confirm anything, they said hey, we really liked what the team did with the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer.
Yeah, wasn't that great?
We are sure looking closely at how well that
I
did.
just like it because it makes my game have such a longer shelf life.
And we're looking at similar kinds of things also, like free DLC and maps and things like that to go through.
The weekend challenges, those got me. So if they're bringing those back, I mean, I would just grab you right to the weekend challenge. We have to play.
That quality of those challenges definitely did not escape the team, I don't think.
So how is it set up then?
Basically, instead of being a team that's like fighting off waves on the same sort of map, it's structured a little more like a dungeon crawl, where you choose like a campaign that's essentially like a style of map, like let's say the castle. It's a sort of modular thing, so it's not the same every time you play it. Some of the rooms and encounters and stuff are going to be different, but you progress through it, trying to get basically to the end of the dungeon.
So you have like different rooms that you get locked in with enemies.
Exactly, and the classes that they're working on are still sort of in flux in terms of like what's going to be there initially, what might come later. But I saw things like, you've got like an archer, you've got a legionnaire, which is like a frontline sort of tank, and a mage.
A mage, I would assume a mage. Can't have Dragon Age without a mage.
But you go through a loop where even if you fail the map, you still get gold and you still get experience from it. So that experience you use to level up your character. There's a skill tree progression.
Okay, cool.
And then the gold you use to buy different tiers of chests. And when you buy a chest, you open it up and it's a random assortment of, potions and gear and weapons and, whatever.
Yep.
But there's also a new layer to it that's kind of interesting in that there's a crafting layer.
Oh, okay.
So let's say that you are only interested in playing an archer, and you save up a bunch of money and you buy a nice big chest and you get a rare item in it that's like a rare mage's staff. And that's
you can't do anything with that.
Yeah, like for me in Mass Effect, it was always like, whenever I'd get a submachine gun, I'd just be like, because I didn't use the classes that used those. What you can do in Dragon Age is you can basically salvage equipment that you get that you don't want, break it down into crafting components, and then after you gather what you need, you can then use those components to build something that you can use, that you actually want for your specific class. And you'll unlock new classes through those chest unlocks also, and those are the kinds of things that you'll be getting as free DLC, or you won't get them. You will download the opportunity to unlock new classes via chests and stuff. And I'm pretty sure that just like Mass Effect, if you don't want to spend all the time grinding, if you do want to pay some real money, you can pay some real money.
You can always just spend the time. And, some people like to shortcut.
The multiplayer is still in a testing phase, so it's not totally live and ready to go. I played a few matches, but I didn't get to spend the kind of time with it that I'd spend if I were sitting at home with it. So I can't totally speak to like how satisfying the progression is and stuff like that. But I got a few good matches in. We definitely got destroyed. We didn't even get close to beating it. One of those matches we had me as an archer and 3 legionnaires. So you definitely want to try and
vary it up.
You want to make sure that you're a little balanced in your approach also. I got super addicted to the Mass Effect multiplayer. I see that happening again for me.
I could use another thing like that in my life. So sounds great.
Ba-dun-dun-dun-dun.